the best deal and the best value for your money when it comes to a tractor brand. We'll try and figure that out in this video. Alright, so here we have a cab 50 horsepower John Deere. This is the 4052R, again the premium series for John Deere. Of course, with the John Deere loader and the John Deere type connecting on the bucket. 4-wheel drive, again cab model, 52, 55 horsepower, somewhere in that range. This is hydrostatic, pedals on the right, and it is a 3-range hydrostatic, as you can see there, A, B, and C. Hitch over there. Not seeing any hydraulic levers. Of course, you got your loader control there, throttle, some other buttons like turn signals and hazards and lights and all that. Got your 4-wheel drive lever right there. And of course, heating and air and radio. It does have buttons over here on the fender to be able to control your 3-point hitch, and to move the tractor. John Deere has this feature where you can press the buttons and move your tractor just a little bit if you need it in order to get hooked up to the implement. So there's one feature that the John Deere does have. You don't see that on other tractors, but the John Deere does have that. Again, you get the quick hitch there on the 3-point hitch, stabilizers category 1, and again, no rear remotes on this. And that 50 to 55 horsepower range cab 4-wheel drive John Deere. We've got the Yanmar YT359 quick attach front loader, 59 horsepower. Of course, it is cab 4-wheel drive. And it has a 3-range hydrostatic shuttle transmission. See there, you got a forward reverse, you got a single pedal down there for gas. It actually has a clutch type pedal and the 2 brakes, so a little different transmission with this Yanmar tractor. And as you will see a little later on, it is very neat and very user friendly. 2 sets of hydraulic remotes, electronic PTO. It's already hardwired for 3rd function, and the fender mounted joystick there. Got 3-point hitch controls over there. 4-wheel drive on and off. And you got a PTO control there as well. So some storage, very roomy cab, heat, AC, spot for radio. You got your lights, very roomy, tilt steering wheel. External cylinders. Does have telescoping link ends. It's only category 1, but I think these could be switched out. As I was looking at some other Yanmar tractors, these could be switched out, and you could probably put the Cat 1, Cat 2 combination ones in there. And 2 sets of remotes. I like these cab lights. Pretty neat the way these cab lights are set up. Most of them are on the outside sticking out to the side or something. These are integrated in. Pretty neat. Again, the Yanmar YT359. Alright folks, just seen some 50 to 60 horsepower class cab tractors. Okay, of course you get into the cab tractor aspect, you're looking at a little more money, a little more features. Okay, and a lot of people want that cab feature, okay, because they may want the heating in the air, they may want the radio, they may want some of those creature comforts that the open station tractors are not offering. Okay, you know, and a cab tractor is not for everybody. Okay, I had a student years ago who told me, said, don't ever buy a cab tractor. Okay, and there, you know, I can see his reasoning in that, because there are some things about them that sometimes ain't so good. You know, your air conditioner breaks on that cab tractor, you're gonna be looking to fix it. Otherwise you're riding with your doors and your windows open, and whatever you doing, the dust and debris that you may be stirring up from plowing or disking or bush hogging or any of that, is coming right in there with you. So there's some disadvantages to it, but there are more advantages I see to having the cab tractor than there are the disadvantages of it. So, and again, this is the 50 to 60 horsepower class, as you have seen here in the video so far. We have 4 tractors here. We have the TYM 574 sitting at around $40,000. The TYM 674, which is around $50,000, and both of those were true pricing from the dealer that I have closest to me, the TYM dealer. That was true pricing from that dealer. And that dealer is actually in Manning, South Carolina. I forget the name of it. And of course, those are 2 pretty common and pretty fairly well-liked models when it comes to the TYM brand, especially that 674. You see a lot of the YouTubers out there that have got that 674 tractor. So very, very common horsepower there for and tractor from TYM, and I believe that one's actually around 65 to 67 horsepower, somewhere along in there. Then you've got the Yanmar YT359, $52,000, and that was true pricing as well. That's what my local Yanmar dealer told me. Okay, and again, I did a video on the cab Yanmar tractor a few videos back. You can go watch it in the description that I gave of it. Very nice tractor, like I said, hydrostatic. Really like that tractor with that hydrostatic transmission. And then we had the John Deere, the 4052R. Okay, and again, we got that R designation there, meaning top of the line premium for John Deere, and it was somewhere between $59,000 and $60,000. So that was a sort of a baseline there. It was $59,000 to $60,000 for what I saw on Tractor House there. So those were the 4 that I looked at. Again, we could have threw in a Kubota, a Coyote, if it had been available, possibly a Case, New Holland, Workmaster series, and some of those, and the Farmall series from Case. Coyote. Oh, I'd have to do some. Yeah, I think Coyote's got a cab tractor in that range. I think. I'd have to look and see. I don't remember offhand. I think I've said Kubota already. LS, of course, got some models in that range as well in the cab tractor. So, again, you really got to dive in and look and see what you want, okay, out of that tractor, and the features, again, that you're getting with these tractors, okay. You could throw into this category that new TYM, I think it's a 4058P, which a lot of people are excited about, even myself. Done a video or two on it at the Sunbelt Ag Expo. Like the looks of that TYM with some of the features that it had on it. It had that big light bar at the top of the cab, and it had the push button lift and raise for the 3-point hitch there on the fender. I think it had two sets of hydraulics on it, so it was a really nice tractor. And if I'd have been able to get a picture or video, I would have thrown it in here, but I wasn't. So, but anyway, so you got these, good range there. You know, if I was looking at the TYM 574 and the Yanmar YT359, you got pretty much same horsepower there, but you've got a $12,000 difference there, you know. And I think the 574, if recollection's right, I think it was a shuttle shift. I may be wrong on that, okay. And I'm sure you can get hydraulic, or excuse me, hydrostatic and shuttle in probably that same tractor, okay. I'm not sure. Again, you have to go back in the video to see if it was hydrostatic or if it was a gear-driven tractor. But again, you've got to look at the features. Okay, you got a $12,000 difference there between the TYM and the Yanmar. Okay, for me, you know, the TYM dealer's 2 hours from me. The Yanmar dealer's 35-40 minutes from me. Do I want to go that 2 hours to pay $12,000 less? And then when I get ready to go do service or need something done to it, I got to still drive that 2 hours over and over? Or do I want to do the 40-minute drive? You know, so that's something I got to look at, you know. Look at how many hydraulics remotes they offer on both. When it comes to my preferences on a cab, I want the tractor, you know, I refer back to my Kubota cab. Everything's right here, easy to use on my right hand side, you know, and that's what I want. I don't want to have to be reaching way back here like I'm in the driver's seat, or reaching way back here to work a hydraulic remote. That's just me. I don't want to do all that reaching back. You know, if the seat's going to swivel, and most of them don't, then it may be okay. But I really don't want to have to break my arm to go back here to move that hydraulic lever to work the hydraulics on the back when I'm pulling my hay rake or my hay tedder or something else of that nature. So, you know, I want something that, you know, easy here. It's going to be comfortable for me when I'm using those hydraulic levers, okay, to be able to work and use. So I've got to look at those two aspects of both of those cab tractors when I'm looking at that, you know. And again, you've got to look at the features. That TYM or that Yanmar YT359 had a really spacious cab. It really felt very spacious to me. And the TYM was a little more cramped feeling. So again, something you got to look for. So you got to compare. Okay, if you've got that availability to go to a couple of dealerships, if you know you're within a couple of hours from those areas and you're able to go to them, you know, you need to go. Now, I mentioned this in the last video. Get a key, crank that thing up, run it, drive it around the yard if they'll let you do that. Okay, and see how that tractor performs, and if you're gonna like sitting in the seat of that tractor. You know, you don't want to go out there and say, okay, that's the tractor I want, it's got what I want on it. You never sit in a tractor, and then you get it home and it feels like you in a two-horse wagon, you know, doing this number, and you're probably not going to be satisfied, okay? So you got to pay attention to those things, and you've got to look at them, okay? You know, again, you've got a $40,000 to $60,000 range, okay, here, from a TYM 574 to the 52 horsepower, which is the least of the horsepowers for this set of tractors we looked at here, but yet the most expensive, okay, in this class. So again, you know, you got to pay attention to those things. I looked at a cab, I think it was the 3039. I think that was what it was. I think it was a 3039 John Deere. Had a loader and a cab. Looked at it this past week at an event I went to, and that tractor was sitting at $52,000. Was the price tag on that, and that was a 3039. I'm almost certain. Again, 4-wheel drive cab. Had a loader on it. Pretty sure it was a hydrostatic tractor. And I think it had a set of hydraulic remotes on it, if I remember correctly. I think. But it was. I'm almost certain it was sitting right around $52,000. And that was a 3940 horsepower tractor. So, you know, you got to pay attention. You got, and I've said it in the past 2 videos, you've got to do your homework. When it comes to seeing the tractor you want, knowing the tractor you want, getting the features that you want on these tractors, you've got to do your homework. Again, visit those websites, visit those dealerships, put your hand on that tractor, put your butt in the seat, you know, see if those controls feel comfortable to you, the pedals feel comfortable to you. It's got the features that you need on it to do the work, okay? Because again, you know, if the hydraulics and some of the other things are coming on it as standard feature on this model, but over here on this model, you're not getting the hydraulics or some of the other features, but yet you may be paying $1,000 or $2,000 less for this tractor. Which one are you going to go for? You know, I'll pay maybe $1,000 or $2,000 more for those standard features, because if I end up needing those features on that tractor that it ain't got it on, then it's going to cost me the $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000 extra there than I might have to pay. Okay, and so therefore I've paid more for this than I could have paid for the tractor with the standard stuff already on it that I did need. So you got to look at that. You got to look at those comparisons really and truthfully, and pay attention to what you really need on that tractor, and pay attention to what's really comfortable to you, especially when you're buying these cab tractors. Okay, look at that. Look at those features on that tractor. One of the things I thought about with the new Coyote tractor, okay? And people, again, you know, we all have our preferences. You all know I've talked about in one of my videos, the Kubota, the air vents are right here in front of you, okay? What does hot air do? It rises, okay? So I'm still up here because I don't power my AC all the way up on the tractor, because you are using the compressor and that may tear up, and my tractor's got a little bit of age on it as it is, and some hours, and so therefore I don't want to overwork that air compressor, okay, the condenser, whatever it's called. I can't think of the name of it right now, but anyway, I don't want to overwork that because of being a cab tractor and turning that thing up to 4 to high on that, okay? And they did that with those new Coyotes, what is it, the 7420, I don't remember the name of it. It's the new one, 7320 maybe, 7320, something like that. 7340, I think it's 7340 40 series, but it's new 70 horsepower cab tractor. They took the air vents from on the top off the old one and put it right in
the dash. So, you know, some people may like that. I would rather have them up here because, again, that cold air is coming down on top of you instead of pushing out in front of you and all the hot air rising. So, again, personal preference. One of those things you got to pay attention to when you get those cab tractors, you know. Again, pay attention to them, okay? User friendliness. What's going to give you the comfort, and many times, especially you get into this size, you're going to spend several hours possibly on them, whether you are doing the hay or bush hogging many acres or disking food plots and that type of stuff. You know, you're going to be spending some time on them, so be comfortable in it and pay attention to what you need on that piece of equipment, okay? Pay attention to those dealers and what they're offering, and again, you got to look at dealer location. You know, for me in the area that I'm in, dealer location's fairly critical. I've got two Kubota dealers that are 30 or so minutes from me. I've got a Case and a New Holland dealer that's 30 or so. Case and New Holland and John Deere dealer that's all 30 or so minutes from me. And I've got a Yanmar dealer that's 30 or so minutes from me. So I have that around me, but that's all I have. So if I want to look at the TYM, the LS, the Coyote, the Mahindra, some of the other ones, I'm going to have to travel for those. And on those tractors, those are some of the ones with, I hate to say it, some more of the more standard features, more hydraulics and more offerings there than some of your better maybe name brands like the New Holland, the Case, the Kubota, the John Deere tractors. But yet I don't have those dealer networks around me. All I've got's the standard dealers that we typically have seen for years. So may have to do some travel. Okay. So to get what you want, and again, you got to pay attention to that and what that dealer's offering. And again, is it going to be more economical for you to drive the 2 hours and pick that tractor up, and then when you need the service, you're going to have to go back and you pay a lower price, or you pay a little bit more for the closer convenience of what that dealer is and what that dealer has to offer. So, yeah, a lot to weigh when it comes to purchasing a tractor these days, a lot to look at, and again, a lot of homework that you need to do. But hopefully, this series of videos, I hopefully have been able to give you some information on them. And maybe hopefully help somebody out there that's maybe looking into buying a tractor, whether it's a cab tractor or open station tractor, in a variety of horsepower range there for you to be able to use. So hopefully, again, giving you some information. Hopefully you've enjoyed these videos. It's always a pleasure. I love going out and videoing tractors and getting on tractors and test driving them and all that. So I love that aspect of it. Always have loved. Tractors been around my whole life, whether it was on the old farmalls, riding in when I was a young fella, and then coming on up and doing hay with my uncles and neighbors and all that, and then getting into doing hay on my own and even teaching students at school how to drive tractors. So I've been around them, and I know, have to say, I know a thing or two about tractors. So this ain't my first rodeo when it comes to them. So, but anyway, thanks for watching. Again, hope you got something out of these videos. God bless each and every one of you. I'll see you in the next one.